Oh hey, I'm Glutton McMuffin, and this is 2 Cents or Nonsense, the series where we take a little break from the silliness, but not the biceps curls. Last time I started sharing my 2 cents with you on building a physique, and it really all boils down to discipline over time. If you want to build a body, you first got to learn how to control your mind, at least a little bit. There's just no getting around it. Today, I'd like to share my 2 cents on the time component of that formula. As the cliche says, good things take time, and building a physique is certainly no exception. And so with that said, why don't we drop this weight, put some clothes on, and go for a little walk and talk. Once you learn how to control your mind, or at least recognize that your old identity as someone who didn't go to the gym and someone who didn't control their eating, that identity is always lurking and you always got to defend from it. Once you recognize that and really buy into your new identity, then it's just a matter of time before you achieve your physique goals. And the natural question, of course, is, well, how much time? And I'm going to give you some rough milestones that you can expect to hit from my own personal experience. But before I do, I should say that I really think you're going to get the most benefit and enjoyment out of this fitness journey if you look at it as really a lifelong one that only ends when you die. But as for specifics, it's quite a bit different. Muscle building versus losing fat, getting lean. Starting with muscle building, hate to break it to you, but we're talking about a time scale of years, even decades. I've been lifting for over 20 years, believe it or not. And I mean, thank God I never suffered any serious injuries, but yeah, over 20 years. I would say I reached my kind of peak in terms of sheer size and brute strength after about 3 to 4 years. And since then, I've really just been refining, continuously learning, getting better at contracting certain muscles, figuring out some new techniques, things that work for me. But the gains past that 3 to 4 or 5 year mark are really a lot more incremental. Things that you might notice when you look in the mirror. Well, you definitely will notice, but that other people might not notice so much, right? And now that first year that you start lifting, that is really what you might call the honeymoon period, where you can basically even just look at a weight and you are gonna grow. It doesn't even really matter what your split is, what your technique is like, even what exercises you do. Your body is just primed to grow in that first year. Everything's gonna be fun. You're probably gonna be obsessed with the gym anyway. So you're gonna be putting the work in and the gains are gonna be glorious in that first year. After that, yeah, the gains are probably gonna slow down a little bit, but by that point, you'll have racked up enough growth to really keep you motivated. And you'll be learning, you'll be getting better, you'll be more comfortable. And so you'll keep accruing gains that way. So yeah, you know what, muscle building, it's really a years long thing, a decades long thing that doesn't end until the day you die. Fat loss, on the other hand, extremely quick. We're talking about, depending on how aggressively you diet and how much cardio you do, we're talking about weeks for, more likely months, but weeks to months for life-changing fat loss. Okay, which is why actually, my friends or just random people who come up to me, if they're just getting started on their journey and their time is limited, they have other priorities, maybe a family, kids, right? I say, hey, if you can really only focus on one aspect of this, start off with the fat loss. because you are going to get life-changing results extremely quickly, again, if you control your mind. And then, you know, once you get that out of the way, you're feeling great, just feeling better, are a lot more healthy. Your clothes are fitting better. You may need a whole new wardrobe, actually. Once you get that out of the way, then you can transition over more towards the muscle building side of things, which again is just a years-long, kind of never-ending journey. Now, the other aspect of time that I did want to touch on is, you know, how much time do you need to dedicate, you know, per day or per week to this thing? And this is really one of those things where the more you put in, the more you get out of it. Now, if you look through my channel, I've got a silly little video up called Pumping Burgers. It's kind of a parody of Pumping Iron, a famous bodybuilding documentary starring the greatest of all time, Arnold Schwarzenegger. But I was about 7%, maybe 8% body fat in that silly little video. You can go check it out. The vascularity was crazy. I had a pretty good pump when we were filming. I was training twice a day. You know, like an hour of cardio in the morning, 90 minutes of lifting in the evening after work, every single day. And on the days that I was taking a break from lifting, I would be doing cardio twice a day on those days. You know, if you've got that kind of time for whatever reason, and you put it in, you're gonna get some extreme results. But I mean, obviously you don't need to be putting that much time in to be getting great results. I would say, as far as lifting goes, if you can find 3 hours per week, you're gonna get great results out of that. If you think about it, you know, that's maybe 1 hour on Saturday, 1 hour on Sunday, and then you really only gotta find 1 more hour somehow from Monday to Friday. I think you can do it. As far as lifting goes, I think 3 hours a week, you'll get great results from that. But this next bit might be a little bit controversial or might be hard for some people to hear, but I really think you gotta be doing cardio every single day. Not a single day off from cardio. Especially if you're a bit older like I am, right? Like if you're in your teens or 20s, maybe the cardio is not so important. I mean, unless you're an athlete, in which case the cardio is critical. But if you're older like I am, that cardio, that daily cardio is critical for your just overall health and well-being, and I think is actually more important than the lifting. But yeah, as far as cardio goes, I would say every single day without fail, at least 30 minutes. Really aim for that. And if you can do an hour, hey, even better. But if you can only find 30 minutes, you know what? I have even found that on days when I'm short on sleep, sacrificing 30 minutes of sleep to get that 30 minutes of daily cardio makes me feel better. Now, I don't know how that works out in the long run, right? But definitely makes me feel better for the rest of that day on short sleep. So daily cardio, but lifting maybe 3 times a week at the very least. Well, that's really all I wanted to talk about today. Again, I hope that this was more 2 cents than nonsense for you. I think next time I'll start going into some just general tips that I've discovered over my journey in terms of building muscle, right? Again, nothing too specific. There are a lot of really great science-based channels on YouTube for that, but just my general tips as far as how to get the most out of your time in the gym. But yeah, thanks. That's it.